Welcome back to our second hour here at World Crisis Radio. And you've seen what Obama's up to. It's a frontal attack on the principal achievements of the United States over the past 70 to 80 years. Frontal attack on the heritage of Franklin D. Roosevelt. He wants to destroy Social Security. He wants to loot it, sack it, chisel it, gouge it to death. Frontal attack on the positive heritage of Lyndon B. Johnson, the things that he did well. Medicare and Medicaid, targeted to be looted, sacked, gouged, thrown away as useless hulks. And, of course, this means millions of deaths among senior citizens, the millions of deaths that have been avoided. And frontal attack against the heritage of John F. Kennedy, the end of the space program, the end of manned space flight. As of the next couple of weeks, the United States will be without a manned space flight capability for the first time in 50 years, since Alan Shepard went into suborbital flight, if you remember that one, and everything that was riding on it, and then Glenn. So in this kind of a situation, is there some deus ex machina that can save us? Is there some scandal that can paralyze Obama's ability to sell out and destroy the country? So let's maybe get an update on that from our friend Phil Berg in Philadelphia, the guy who started the entire birth certificate controversy by going to the Supreme Court August 21st, 2008, almost 3 years ago, and a friend of the program. Welcome, Phil.
Sure. Yeah, we have to do something, but it takes America to wake up. What you mentioned here that he's doing, Obama, from the time he got in office, has been doing everything to destroy this country, to destroy the Constitution. You know, we started with the Constitution because I claim, and many others have joined with me, but not enough, that Obama is not constitutionally eligible to be president, which is a blatant stepping on our Constitution. You know, it wouldn't happen today, but for the last 10 or 15 years, Arnold Schwarzenegger was approached to run for president, and he kept saying amend the Constitution because he was born in Austria. Because of recent developments with, I don't think he would be called now to be a candidate. I think we can
put him to rest, Phil.
but the issue is there, and the issue was presented by him and to him, and Obama just doesn't discuss the issue. Obama walks all over the Constitution, and now by being in office, he's doing stuff to destroy this country. Obamacare is basically unconstitutional, even though one of the Court of Appeals now has sided with him. It'll end up at the Supreme Court. It'll be a real disaster if the courts allow this, because under the Commerce Clause, it shouldn't be allowed. And if they can force this on us, what else can they force on us? Aside from what you stated about Social Security and Medicaid, Medicare fraud, and the also the space program, there's word out there through some international treaty he's trying to affect the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. He's a very dangerous person because he does not have this country's interest at heart. And that's why we're about to file another lawsuit. I'm not sure I don't know what the best thing there is. Somehow we have to motivate the people in this country to do the efforts to force the politicians, to force the media to do what they just did on Anthony Weiner. Anthony Weiner came up, and all of a sudden the Democrats were against him, the Republicans were against him, the media was against him, Obama came out and was against him. Obama said he would force him to resign. And we should really turn around to Obama. Obama, since you're a fraud, since you're a liar, you should do what you said as far as Weiner, and you should resign as president. But he won't do it because he's a glutton. He's out to destroy this country. I will be filing another lawsuit soon. It's been delayed. We're doing what we can right now to see what other efforts we can make. It's a shame that Darrell Issa won't do something as a Republican head of the Government Oversight Committee. That's why we need the American public out there. Everyone listening to me, if you can listen for me for the next minute, when the show is over, if you went to your address book and then sent Obama crimes, because we're the most thorough on all information regarding Obama, and send my website to everybody you know, and ask them to send it to everyone they know. You know, just 10 to the 10th power is in the millions. I mean, this is something that could take each one of your listeners out there 15 minutes just to send it, or a half hour to send it to everyone in your address book, and say, wake up, America. Wake up and demand the truth. Look what's happening in overseas in various countries. I'm not asking people to step out in the streets. We don't have to do that yet. But with the Internet, we can do amazing things. And we have to do it because Obama is a disaster to this country. I believe that he's being blackmailed by somebody because he still has his BlackBerry, which he insisted on, the first president ever, and that's against White House policy because everything from the White House is supposed to be recorded, phone conversations, meetings, everything is documented. Some is released right away, some 40 years later. But I'm sure the things that are taking place on the BlackBerry are not. And I think the powers that be, and the powers that be are money people in this country, have told Obama, listen, we know Berg and other people are right. You don't belong in the White House. If you want to be president, you have to play ball our way. So I think some of these could be his ideas, and some of these could be people that are blackmailing him, either internally in this country or externally from around the world. Because the leaders around the world know he's a fraud, know he's a phony. They know he was born in where I stayed in Mombasa, Kenya, Africa, and they know he was adopted in Indonesia. So either way you look at it, he's not constitutionally eligible to be president, and he's hurting this country. And we're the umbrella for everyone out there. I don't care what your issue is, whether your issue is the Social Security or Medicaid or Medicare, which affects millions and millions of people, or the space program. As Webster said, this is the first time in 50 years we won't have a program because Obama has not continued on with it. Or if your issue is the war, we're still at war. He's going to bring troops home soon. He's going to bring a lot of troops home.
As of now, we've got 6 wars going, and 3 or 4 of them started by Obama himself.
And he's to bring troops home when? Right before the elections next year. I mean, he's playing with the American public. Wake up. Wake up. I don't want any stars for this. I'm just trying to do this for all of you out there. I'm the umbrella for everyone out there. Together. We just want the truth. We want the truth, and we demand the truth, and we should have the truth, and it's not hard. We just need enough people in this country to say, whoa, the document that they put out in June of 2008, you couldn't even get a passport with it or register your child for Little League. On April 27th and 2011, this year, a month and a half ago, when Obama at the White House put out his long-form vault birth certificate, it has more holes in it than Swiss cheese. And the national media we don't have a free press in this country, and it's scary. It's dangerous. That document, the audacity of Obama to put that document out, and no one looking at it. There's experts floating around the Internet. The experts are right. That document is a fraud. It's a phony. And Obama now is up for it. He could be, with a felony. I mean, he stands in front and says, this is my document. This is my birth certificate. It's not. So wake up, everybody. Let's see what we can do, and let's work together on this.
Good, Phil. And that's ObamaCrimes.com. And remember, this does cost money, so please be generous for Phil Berg.
Yeah, we can use some contributions, but more important is send ObamaCrimes.com to everybody you know when the show's over, please, and ask them to send it on. Take your calculator, 10 to the 10th power is the million, so 10 to the 20th power, we can get the 14 million people in this country to know what's going on. And when people realize what's going on, maybe they'll stop the flow of money to the fraud Obama. Obama is a hoax. It's the biggest hoax against our country, but it's a dangerous hoax. And as Webster mentioned, these programs, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and the space program going down the drain, why? He says, I want to fulfill my 2 terms and other things. If Obama's reelected, this country, it will never be like it ever was before, because it's not now. Stop. We don't need this. And for your own security and safety, when the show is over, ObamaCrimes.com, send it to everyone you know, and even send me a copy. Let me see that you're doing this, because it's an urgent time to do it. Thank you, Webster.
Okay, we'll see you next week, Phil. Hang in there.
Thanks.
And we'll be back in a minute on World Crisis Radio.